Welcome back. We're already halfway through the first day of Centre Court, and when I was looking at my invitees for this panel, I had a big smile on my face. Lots of friends that are joining us within a context where demand for business school, it's been a strong year. The value of the MBA continues to prove itself year after year. Candidates that are looking to strengthen their personal and professional development for tomorrow and every day after tomorrow. This is the chance at Centre Court to hear directly from the admissions office and how they craft a class of diverse, talented young professionals all across the country. So I'm sitting down with senior leaders from 4 of the best schools in the US. It's a pleasure to welcome Nicole Wilhite. Nicole is the Associate Director of Admissions and Student Recruitment at Kenan-Flagler at UNC. Melissa Rapp is joining us from Atlanta. Melissa is the Associate Dean of Graduate Admissions at the Goizueta School at Emory. From Florida, braving power outs and of course the weather, it's lovely to have Naz Aranguk with us. Naz is the Director of Admissions at the Warrington School College of Business at U Florida. And Jim Holman, who I've enjoyed and I've known for over 25 years. Jim, it's lovely to see you. Jim is the Director of Admissions and Financial Aid at IU Kelley. So all 4 of you, strong year demand for business school, but you've all got wonderful programs, world-class faculty. You attract this talent all over the world. Perhaps for our viewers that equally come from all over the world, we can just give them a snapshot of your institutions. And Nicole, if I can start with you, tell us a little bit about Kenan-Flagler and what makes it so special.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. So we're located in the Triangle, so right in between Durham, Chapel Hill, Raleigh area, right there in the Research Triangle in North Carolina. We also have had some interesting weather in the western part of our state. Still rebuilding from that, and be a while. But no, we have a fantastic community here at UNC Kenan-Flagler. We pride ourselves, I'd say our biggest reputation that people talk about is that we're the nice MBA. I think just the Southern hospitality kind of aspect around North Carolina, mixed with a non-competitive atmosphere that we have here at Kenan-Flagler, really sets us apart. So, but really happy to be here today and welcome everyone.
I think that being the nice MBA is a great thing to be. The world should be a nicer place. Melissa, Atlanta's a thriving, dynamic city, and you enjoyed your move there. What really strikes you about Goizueta?
Yeah, so Atlanta luckily has missed a lot of weather down here in the South. Goizueta is well positioned for anyone looking for a MBA in a dynamic city. Atlanta's home to lots of Fortune 500 companies, so we have lots of great access. That, coupled with our commitment to a classroom experience that not only prepares you as a business leader, but also just as a human being. And I think that's something that we've really pivoted some of our more recent offerings on. We're continuing to offer our core classes and a diversity of electives so that you can make the degree your own. But we've recently incorporated a lot of different experiential opportunities and classroom work focused on life design and happiness. So one of our most recent offerings now is a global excursion to Denmark to learn why they're so happy and how you can incorporate some of that into your life as a business leader. Kind of recognizing that the folks who are coming to our MBA program now are looking for those core business associated activities, so great curriculum, experiential learning, global opportunities, but now we're also looking for ways to find balance in their lives and to really have a rich and full life, not just focused on business. And so we're being really proactive about incorporating that. And I do think that that is something unique that Goizueta is starting to offer.
Well, you're spoiling me, both of you. We're on a roll. We've gone niceness, happiness. Jim, I'm going to talk to you for a fulfilling life. And Kelley, a school, of course, that you know so well.
Well, we're nice and we're happy also. We like to say that our students have the talent to succeed, the humility to grow, and the tenacity to persevere. We are probably the smallest program among the top ranked programs in the US. We're in a college town. All of our students live probably at the most a mile or two from each other and from campus. And there's something that creates a really unique community when we have our students coming from all over the country, all over the world, come to Bloomington, Indiana, live close by each other, have this tremendous MBA experience, and then they have the ability to take their MBA anywhere they want. Our students go all over the US for their careers. And so we, like many schools, pride ourselves in the way we are able to help our students with career transitions. You know, we have certainly students who are looking to advance the career path that they are already on, but a good portion of our students are coming back to pivot. For some, it's a minor pivot. For some, it's a major pivot. And we have the support and the resources to do that. A lot of personal attention. Our students have an academic advisor, a career coach, a peer coach. They'll work closely with a faculty member as well. So they have their own personal board of directors, their own team of advisors to work with them in partnership through their 2 years.
Well, in an hour, we're going to have your colleagues from careers that will be sharing with us all of the different incredible opportunities, the smaller pivots, the bigger pivots that they all that enjoy. Now, Naz, we couldn't turn to Florida Warrington and not talking about being a Gator. What does it mean to be a Gator?
Yeah, so Matt, thank you so much, because there's so much culture and tradition around the University of Florida. So we are located in Gainesville, Florida. I mean, Florida, third largest growing state. You know, we are a small town here, similar to Jim's experience, that we are small by design, in the sense that we're only bringing in about 30 to 40 students, full-time students every year in our full-time 2-year program. But the great thing is that everybody who joins the MBA program, whether they're a full-time executive online or a weekend-based student, they all get to feel the traditions of being a Gator. And in fact, just this past weekend, we had a lot of students on campus for the game day. It's nice that when we win, we can talk about the wins, right? When we don't win, we just kind of yeah. And so, but I think to everybody's point, we are all about an experience of bringing, a group of students together, recognizing that this is a really pivotal part of our lives, making that choice to come to an MBA. So how do we have the support from our academic advisors, to our engagement team, to our career coaches, to having a small cohort so that you can be a part of a large program, a large university, but still have that very small family dynamic. We always say you come in as an MBA cohort, you leave as an MBA family. And I think that is something that all 4 of us can attest to, is the fact that you're going to grow, learn, play with all of your cohort mates. And it's a really special opportunity to do so here in the swamp, where we have so many different things and ways to kind of get outside and really experience all of the benefits that we have here in Gainesville, Florida.
So I guess as an admissions team, and Nicole, you're thinking about the classroom. You want to see the academic rigor and where a GPA or a standardized test score might share that, but you're very much part of a community. So big picture in admissions, as you're looking at a candidate and thinking about how they will then contribute and fit, are there some instinctive things at Kenan-Flagler that you love to see and say, those are the qualities, the sort of characteristics that really thrive and flourish here?
Absolutely. I would say, of course, test scores matter. Of course, all those data points are important, but having a high EQ is extremely important here at Kenan-Flagler, and I think all of our schools. It's great to have so many leaders, but maybe knowing when to step aside, knowing how to take feedback seems to be something we're still looking for out there in the world as great MBA students. Being able to take that feedback, learn from it, grow from it, give it to others. And so I think just having that high emotional intelligence is extremely important and can go really far, especially when speaking about it in your interview. So yeah, that's really important to us.
Yeah, and really diverse classes. Melissa, your students have been with you since late July. An incredible diversity. How do you look at diversity, across gender, of course, backgrounds, industry experience? What does diversity mean to the admissions team at Goizueta?
It's all those things. It is having a class that represents not just diversity that you can see. You know, there's obviously the gender, the background, what country are you from? Those things are important to us, but it's a diversity of thought that we really want to infuse into our classroom. And your particular point of view has been developed through your experiences and your background, where you've lived, what type of work you've done, what roles you've taken on, what challenges you've faced. And so when we can learn as much as we can about our candidates and can see that they do have a unique viewpoint, that they know their story really well, that they're able to communicate ways with their classmates that maybe their classmates haven't seen before. So if you're an engineer and I put you in a class with a lot of engineers, it's all people thinking the same way and approaching problems in a very similar way. What we want to do is put you in a classroom with people who are thinking differently, so that you're challenged in how you approach problems, but then you're also challenging others. And through that experience, you learn how to lead people who are coming into your organizations with different ways of thinking. And so that's really kind of the big picture of diversity that I'm constantly thinking about, is how is this going to play out in the classroom, and how are those interactions going to help you build your leadership skills and your ability to manage large organizations, complex problems, and a lot of people.
Right. Now, given that focus, Jim, on potential, typically young professionals, the earlier stages of their career, and they may not have a job title that speaks to leadership, as you look through their resume. So how can they then share with you and your colleagues experiences that they've had, projects perhaps, that speak to the underlying characteristics that are then going to serve them really well for future leadership roles?
Well, the reality is that titles mean very little. And even seeing someone's list of tasks or things that they're responsible for doesn't tell us a lot. I think what differentiates a candidate, which really helps us understand the foundation that they're coming into the program with, the foundation that they're going to be building on and sharing with their classmates, it's when they share information about what they have actually accomplished in whatever they have done, whatever career they have pursued, perhaps involvement in college or in other organizations. What have they accomplished? What are the transferable skills that they have developed? What kind of impact have they had on the organizations that they have been a part of? That's what is going to separate a candidate. We're, not looking just at a title, but what have they actually done? What have they learned? And again, that's what they're going to be sharing with their classmates. That's what they're going to be drawing on in classroom discussion. So the degree to which people can provide examples and kind of highlight those accomplishments, that's going to be valuable to us.
Right. Nicole was referring earlier now to EQ and how that might contribute to a team or particular projects. There'll be a recommender that could perhaps speak to some of those qualities. What would you like to hear from a recommender that will go beyond maybe the bullet points that are on the resume?
Yeah, so the things that we're really looking for, and whether it's from essay responses or recommendation letters, is really coachability and grit. I think that those are our key facets. As you're thinking about doing an MBA, we want to make sure that that you can be in a classroom environment, that you can be a leader when you need to be a leader, that you can take a backseat and kind of just be more support role as needed. And so recognizing that through the recommendation letters, we're really looking to see how well somebody can adapt to teams, how well they can adapt to new projects, how well they take criticism or insights from their superiors, right, their mentors. And so I think it's really important that grit and coachability are things that not only we're looking for in letters of recommendation, but also throughout the interview process. When I'm talking to somebody, I specifically ask them, tell me about a time that you had kind of a butting of heads with your supervisor, and how did you resolve that? And how do you think that they felt you resolved that? So that I can get a little bit more deeper into kind of the what happened and kind of how they perceive both sides of that. Because at the end of the day, once again, if someone's making this big life-changing opportunity to come and do an MBA program, and here at the Warrington College of Business, if we're going to give you a full tuition scholarship, we really want to make sure that that fit is there. And part of that fit is not only excitement, but it's wanting to work with others, being able to work well in teams, being coachable, and demonstrating that grit to be able to roll up your sleeves. So those are all things that we're trying to parse out in letters of recommendation and beyond.
Right. Now, all four schools, you describe a life-changing opportunity, but Nicole, where certain industries, maybe consultants, bankers, some engineers that perhaps have had business school in their minds for years, and someone that's watching Center Court and say, yeah, but I don't feel that I fit into those categories. Is business school right for me? How do you encourage them to think about the business school experience, given that it can open up opportunities for everybody?
Well, I think coming in with the say yes mindset, right? So coming in, and I would much rather see someone come in and not know exactly what to expect and what it's going to be like, and have this transformative experience, and they're a little nervous. They might have some imposter syndrome. They're not sure if they should even be here. I always see that, first day orientation, all of us probably, that everyone's sweating and they look like they're about to pass out. Yeah, but then by the time they get to graduation, right, they're like, I never thought that it was going to be this way. So I think any kind of preconceived notion that you have about business school, it's probably not going to turn out that way no matter what. So I always tell people, worry less, enjoy the ride, say yes to things you wouldn't normally say yes to. Lean in to go to other info sessions about other companies you maybe never even knew about or heard about before, just to keep an open mind. And yeah, let it kind of carry you and take you with you to have the best time possible in business school.
Right. Melissa, you get to see through countless classes the individual that maybe came in, they knew the job title they wanted, the company they wanted to work with, and then the magic happens. They explore all of these opportunities, and of course, your colleagues in the Career Management Center. Perhaps rather than being focused on one role, how do you like to put the MBA in a broader context for exploration, for finding out about both yourself and a pathway that you might then follow?
Yeah, I do think that a growth mindset is a really important characteristic of people who are coming into an MBA program. And a lot of times you don't know what you don't know. And so our MBA candidates do come to us with an idea of, I want to do this particular job at this particular company, but it's generally based on things that they've heard from their friends or something that somebody they trust has told them. And they don't know the immense spectrum of opportunities that are out there. And so I really love it best when candidates, and I think these are the candidates who end up being the most successful as students and alumni, come into it with a growth mindset. And while they may have a path in mind, they really are open to what the market is demanding. So the job that you might want may not be a high demand career right now, while there are lots of other opportunities that you haven't thought about that could be great opportunities for you. So what is the market asking for? What are some skills or areas that you haven't studied before that you find out you love? And that's one of the benefits of the core classes that we have all of our students go through. You're exposed to all the different aspects of business. And while you may have been working in marketing and thought you loved marketing, we see it all the time that a student comes and suddenly they've taken one finance class, then they've taken 3 or 4, and now all of a sudden they're looking for a career in finance, and they never thought that would be them. And that is kind of the magic of the MBA, is being exposed to things that you've maybe shied away from or just not had the opportunity to explore in the past, and being open to the opportunities that are available. And I think, like I said, the most successful students and alumni are the ones who are open to growth and open to things that they didn't expect to happen.
Yeah, well, in terms of that growth, I mean, Jim, the media, I think, always tries to force us to think about ROI purely in dollar terms, that post-MBA salary or 3 years out. You actually watch individuals on this transformational journey. What are maybe some of the more intangible elements of ROI that you think are often overlooked?
Sure. Continuing on what has been shared, There is something so unique about an MBA because it doesn't close any doors, but it leaves so many doors open. It's such a transferable skill set that our students develop that can be used in the for-profit world, the nonprofit world, in traditional business roles, or things completely different. So I think the universal nature of the skills is certainly one of the more perhaps less obvious investments that you are making, that there's a strong return. A big part of the MBA experience is the network that they develop with their classmates, with alumni, with business leaders. And that network will serve them so well throughout their life and career. So it's always difficult to put an actual value on that, but that is definitely part of the experience. And if you take a step back, we've talked a lot about just the growth opportunities and the hope that the students go into this with an open mind. There's probably not going to be another time in one's life when they can take 2 years and just focused on their own personal and professional development with very little risk, the opportunity to try new things. And so those that take advantage of this, it's not quite a sabbatical, it's not a retreat because they're working hard. But again, spending those 2 years working incredibly hard, having a lot of fun. But I think it's really life-changing for so many of our students. I think so many of them talk about the 2 years of the MBA as 2 of the best years of their life. They often then say the 2 years that they would not want to repeat, but definitely the 2 most challenging and beneficial and enjoyable 2 years of their life.
Right. So a unique time in an individual's life, Naz, but often perhaps a candidate might say, well, is this the right time? Is there a right time for business school?
There's always a right time. You'll never feel like it's a right time, but the time value of money says today is the right time. And so, I will tell you that, to Jim's point, I mean, we all basically work in a retreat. No, I'm just kidding. All of our business schools, right? We have an extended retreat. No, but I do think that, there's so much that you will gain from an MBA program that I think jumping in now is the best time, because, I have this conversation time and time again where somebody says, Naz, I was planning on doing this MBA. 2-3 years have gone by. Had I just started when we originally, initiated the conversation, I would have started to see that ROI even quicker. I would have already been at this juncture where I could, see the benefits of doing this MBA. And I will also tell you, Matt, the benefit of doing an MBA as well today is the fact that we're constantly, I would tell you that, not only here at Warrington, but with these other 3 schools, all 4 of us, we are all leads in our industry for being able to adapt to industry demands and what companies are looking for. So we're agile enough that when, let's say, AI or, ethical leadership or, these concepts are coming out and into the market, we've already made adjustments to our curriculum to accommodate for these, to start talking about this so that our students are truly, they are being built to be the business leaders of tomorrow. So if you start this today, your journey starts that much sooner. So, there are so many opportunities to kind of say, well, maybe I want to wait another year, or maybe I want to take this opportunity before diving in. But the retreat can start today, right? Okay, maybe not today, but next fall. But I do think that this is something, it is an investment in yourself, and you have to kind of look at that as well. And, what better of a time to invest in yourself than doing it as quickly and as soon as possible.
Right. And in terms of the shifting trends, Nicole, Naz just brings up AI that undoubtedly is going to transform lives, the workplace. This idea of, well, do I specialize with a master's versus the more general management focus of the MBA? Looking at those 2 examples, what do you think that perhaps the MBA offers that, almost irrespective AI and other trends, it's always going to provide you with a sure footing to keep up with those trends?
I think as far as business schools go, and having that 2 full years and having all of that internship experience with those companies that are embracing AI, I'm pretty sure all of us are embracing AI at our schools. We're having classes about it. I know that our professors are saying, use it, but, you know, let's change all the work and all the requirements to almost embrace the fact that you're going to be using it. Just like we use the internet, it's not going anywhere. And so just saying, what can we learn from it? And what are the good things about it? And what are the not so great things about it? And please don't use certain tools like that to write your essays, because we can absolutely tell when those have not been genuinely created. But if you'd like to use that to help with the tone or the spelling, obviously that's fine. But I would just say, you know, getting that taste, getting your foot in the door, having a full year with professors who are also, we're all learning together, and then having that full summer internship to really be a part of those companies that are embracing it and using it for good. It's really exciting. But having that opportunity is, yeah, it's fantastic.
And all of this within a community. We had a discussion earlier today, Melissa, the difference between a network that you undoubtedly have access to, whether at Emory and Goizueta or any of the other schools, and a community, and starting with your immediate MBA classmate. What is the difference for you between a network and a community, and how ultimately they benefit from both?
Yeah. What a great question, Matt. Kudos to you for really swinging for the fences on this one. You know, I think network sort of has this transactional business connotation. So to me, it's a little like LinkedIn. This is where you do your business, whereas community is maybe your Instagram or Facebook. This is where you let the people in on the real side of your life. And I think what's great about Goizueta and the other schools that are here today is that the Venn diagram of those two things is very overlapping. And so you are getting a network that does aid you wherever you're going to go in business. You do need to have professional contacts that are in your industry, that are outside of your industry, that are really going to be able to help you navigate your career as you move through your life. But you're going to need a community that is also going to support you and understand some of your hesitations about business decisions or some of your insecurities that maybe you don't want everyone to know about. And the great thing about an MBA program is that you have an experience alongside of people who fall into both of those categories. You have people who you get to know on a personal level, who can be your personal board of trustees, but you also have access to this bigger network that can help you as you navigate your business decisions and professional decisions. So again, that's how I think about it. Others may think differently, but that's how I would think about it as I was thinking about business school.
Right, and Kelly, Jim, you described, you know, you're deliberately smaller. If you want 850 classmates, you can go to Philadelphia. But the idea of then being part of this community, how does that play through? Not just in the classroom, you know, and the discussions and the engagement, but you know, everything that they're then growing together and sharing outside of the classroom and belonging to you know, a very supportive community.
I am always impressed by the degree that our students support each other. They work incredibly hard, but they have a lot of fun too. And I suspect that's true at most MBA programs, but the time our students spend traveling on weekends and breaks, I mean, they just, I think many of them take care of bucket list items during those 2 years when they have the time. So, you know, I just think it's such a unique opportunity because again, when a new class begins in our program, and I suspect in the other programs as well, they're probably all going through the same set of emotions, the excitement, the apprehension, the imposter syndrome. They've all made similar sacrifices to go back to school full time. And for the most part, they're full in. I mean, they want to make the most of this experience and that opportunity to try new things and experience, for many, a new part of the country, or take advantage of our international consulting opportunities, international trips and exchange programs to explore different parts of the world. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Well, before we finish today's panel, I'm hoping for an answer from Melissa about what it is about Denmark and those happy Danes. What is their secret? But it's not just Florida, but I think equally, Naz, global immersion programs similar to Kelley that are also going to expose them to, different ways of doing business, different cultures.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Global immersion experiences, 1-week study tours we run. In fact, we have a group hopefully on Thursday leaving for Brazil. We have another group going to Norway as well this weekend. So they will spend a week abroad visiting 6 to 8 different companies doing a global consulting project. But Matt, there are other ways to also, if you can't necessarily go abroad, we have, we're a part of our consortium, our business policy, the Washington campus course that we run up there, but we do electives here on campus. I think to everybody's point, there's so many ways to get involved. Case competitions are great ways to get involved. There are so many ways to roll up your sleeves and really understand, how to apply kind of the what you're learning in the classroom to the world, and doing that with your peers, traveling, doing case competitions, going to various sightseeing bucket list, places, going on our global immersion trips. So there's so many avenues. We did, in fact, a global consulting project in Manhattan this past summer. And so that was a wonderful opportunity for students maybe who didn't want to go abroad, but wanted to keep it more local, but wanted to get out of Florida during a 1-week break here in the summer. So, like I said, the opportunities are endless. And so as a student, how can you pick and choose? We almost say that there's too many things to choose from, and how can you best round out your experience? And, if it's going abroad, great. If it's staying local, also great. And so, but you'll have a group of, students that you'll get to share this experience with, and that's what will make it even richer.
With so many different opportunities, Nicole, when the incoming class, and within a week they've signed up for so many clubs, and there's more than they could pack. What advice do you then have to maybe prioritize or think about how they're filling their schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. That is something people ask me all the time. You didn't tell me it was going to be like the FOMO part where I want to do everything, right? It's always that, how do I fit it all into this week? I say, start slow, especially because recruitment season there is early on, and focus on that because it's the whole kind of main point of going to business school is the job at the end. But I tell people all the time, maybe pick 2 things, get comfortable with saying, sadly, no to maybe a few, happy hours here and there, which is sad, but picking, the more fruitful networking events or information sessions that you can attend. But yeah, that FOMO never goes away. I hear about that every year, just wanting to be a part of everything campus has to offer. Like Naz said, it's hard. There's so many great, fun, exciting things to do, but and get yourself a good organizer. Way to stay organized, because that's the other thing I hear about is recruitment, info sessions, study teams, doing all of that can get a little bit mind-boggling, but with a good way to stay organized, you should be great.
Yeah. With your admissions team, Melissa, you get to meet a candidate, at least on a screen, on paper, as they're applying to the school, and then it goes by in a flash. They're graduating. Do they ever then sort of share with you at the end of the program either the expectations they'd had, the surprises, maybe what they've learned about themselves at a personal level? What sort of feedback do they give you?
Yeah, I actually just got a couple of thank you notes from graduates who graduated in May and are now off starting their jobs. And I think the most rewarding thing is that everything that we tell them the experience is going to be, it is that and then some. And I think that's, makes me feel good about the job that my team is doing, and the fact that they come to Goizueta and really have an authentic experience that mirrors what we told them it was going to be. I think all of them do find out surprising things about them. We've talked a little bit about reflection, and I think that's a really important part of the experience here at Goizueta. We're not just going to teach you something. We're not just going to have you do something. We're also going to have you reflect on it and how you've changed. And so I think a lot of our process is built. We have our students write themselves letters in the first week that they're on campus, and they get those mailed to them, not when they graduate, but later on. So they're in the workforce for a year or two before they get them, so that they can really see the true impact of the experience. And I just, I do think that our students giving us the feedback that they have transformed in the ways that we told them they would, even when they weren't sure they could do it, even when they arrived on campus and realized, wow, this is a group of really smart people. Am I supposed to be here? I think they all feel that way. I think for those of you listening to this conversation thinking, I'm not sure I can do it, you're going to be in good company. And we see that transformation for all of our students. So not only can you do it, you're going to have an amazing experience too.
Right. I started, Jim, by saying, for tomorrow and every day after tomorrow. And sometimes I'm not sure if it's tangible to people, a 10-year class reunion. What is it about business school? Because we talk about a transformational experience. We talk about lifelong friendships. And perhaps we thought we might have them with high school or with undergrad. What is it about business school that is creating such lasting and enduring friendships, for the 10, 20 years, the rest of your lifetime?
But actually, it's funny that you mentioned this, because this past weekend, our class of 1994 had their 30th reunion, and they came back to campus. There was another group that met virtually that I had a chance to meet with. I think some would say that the 2 years were, although some of the best 2 years, were also some of the most challenging 2 years. And every one of our MBA students often credits their success to some of their classmates and some of their teammates that talked them through a difficult time when they weren't sure they were going to pass the exam or this or that. So I think it's that combination of going through a unique and challenging experience together, achieving dreams together, career dreams together, and then our classes, our students are together all the time for those 2 years. When you're an undergrad, you're spread across campus and taking courses all over, but there's something about the common experience that I think brings the students together even more closely than perhaps friends that they met through some of their prior class or educational experiences. So yeah, and to see some of our grads 30 years out, hearing what they're doing, learning about their families or things that they have achieved over that time, it's really fulfilling.
Yeah, well, we
know that
talked about
the Kelley School had a part in shaping their life and their success and their career.
Yeah, well, we talk about sort of leaving as a family, Naz, and presumably that network, whatever the market conditions, are they the first to sort of lean in? At my company, we're hiring, or that just a lot of internal connections and opportunities and a generosity, I guess, to then give back.
Yeah, 100%, Matt. In fact, it's funny that you say that, because just on last week on Friday, I was flying. I was actually taking some time off, so I was taking a long weekend, and I was getting out of Gainesville, Florida, to go to cooler weathers. And I had 2 alums that were on my plane from Jacksonville out, and it was so fun because I asked them, what were you doing, and they're like, we were on campus doing our corporate info sessions. We had a wonderful time and experience. They had both graduated a couple of years ago, and they chose to come back to be those recruiters that could kind of coach our students on, how well they would fit within the organizations that they ultimately chose post-graduation. And I think that was a great testament to not only are they choosing to be phenomenal brand ambassadors, but they are also trying to help recruit future Gators into their organizations. And so talking about that, I started mentioning, oh, well, how's so-and-so doing? And they're like, oh, they're great. We just had a long weekend where we went to so-and-so's wedding. And, you really see those bonds that are formed. And I think it actually goes back to the intentionality of why they're choosing to come to business school, and why they're choosing at this point of their life to come back to business school. But I think that what we see is those who have had positive experiences, which, hopefully all of our Gators had phenomenal experiences, is that they find ways to give back. Whether it's, they want to recruit future Gators, or they want to host info sessions, or mentor, or be ambassadors. So there are different ways in which we have students kind of give back. And of course, even at some levels, we have students who are literally hiring graduates and their classmates to come work with them, once they've completed their degree. And so we see that time and time again. And I think that's the most heartwarming part, is that you've had somebody that we've invested in, and now they turn, it's their turn to kind of reinvest in the future MBA crop of transformative business leaders.
So you never know who's sitting next to you on a flight, and it could be a Kenan-Flagler alum. Having those connections, talking with alums, based on their experience. Your recommendations, Nicole, because they're busy people, so being respectful of an exchange, and how you can get the most out of that, not simply cover things that are on the website. What would you recommend?
I think being intentional, and I always get this, that alumni come back and they want to help, and they want to serve, and they want to show up, and they want to participate in everything. But then they also, if they're at a high profile company, they get inundated with messages and emails and LinkedIn, requests. They take it in stride. They're very kind people. And of course they are busy. I think the best thing that people can do when reaching out to alums is to be respectful of their time, to have done your research before you come to them. And really just know that, as excited as they are to talk about their experience, trying to do as much information gathering as you possibly can before you come to them, just to get their personal experience, rather than asking them, can you look at my essays? Can you do that? Like, that's not something that the alumni really want to help with, nor do we want them to. We want you to do it. And so I think just being mindful of that, of their time, of their energy to give back. But I think, all alumni, especially when they see another person wearing the Carolina blue, they get really excited and they want to talk about their experience. I'm sure, as everyone here, yeah, they love talking. They want to talk. Just being respectful when you're reaching out to those people.
Well, perhaps students will come back, Melissa, with answers about trust in institutions in Denmark, and affordable healthcare, and any number of factors, the whole hug thing. My final question for you: what makes Goizueta students, graduates, so happy?
You're just giving me all the good questions today, Matt. I think what makes them so happy is what I talked about earlier, that everything that we told them that this experience would be, in a supportive community with people who care about you, where you're going to learn not only how to feel comfortable in spaces making really important, challenging business decisions, but you as a human being are going to grow in development and come into a level of confidence that you have not known before. And I think that is what makes them happy, that they can sit in the room where it happens, they can contribute in a meaningful way, and they know how to balance that type of work with their own personal happiness. And I mean,
yeah. So the Kelley MBA of '94 that was on the campus this weekend, or the Kelley MBA of 2024, finding out that Kelley's the right place for any of our viewers. Jim, that we talked about alums, and Nicole's advice in terms of respecting them. Don't throw the application essays at them. Make it very informative. Other ways of finding out more about the program to get that sense of fit, and this is the right place for me.
Sure. Well, I would encourage candidates to visit campus. We provide so much information on our websites. We all provide virtual opportunities to meet with members of our school's communities, but there's nothing like visiting campus, sitting in on a class, touring the facilities, getting a sense of the campus, for us, the Bloomington community. For many, especially being in a college town in Southern Indiana, it's a game changer, because sometimes I think people assume that being in a college town in Indiana will mean limited opportunities, nothing to do, restrictions on where they can accept internships and full-time positions. And when they get here, when they meet our faculty, when they meet our students, they recognize that there's nothing further from the truth. We're a vibrant community. Bloomington revolves around a university of 48,000 students, which brings a lot of diversity, energy, vibrancy to the community. And again, the community of learners, the faculty, the students are just such a special group. And so visit campus, and I think you will get a very quick sense of what it will offer you and the degree to which you can be a part of such a family and community.
Yeah. Now, Naz, all four of you have been so generous in what you've shared, the encouragement. Perhaps just a final word, because you're very available with your team to have those conversations. Jim talked about, come to campus and see me. I saw you nodding your head. Just the more that you can then absorb about Warrington, about any of these wonderful schools, to make that informed choice.
Yeah, I think just, connect with us. I have a phenomenal team. I say this time and time again at every Poets and Quants session, reach out to me directly. I'm here to assist. Let's have this conversation. Let's determine if it's the right fit. Come to campus, attend one of our free GMAT boot camps. We are always here. My team, if, we are excited about being a part of your journey to do this MBA. So, reach out to me directly. My contact information is right on our website, but I encourage you to start the conversation. Come to campus, participate in an open house, a free GMAT boot camp weekend. Come and experience what it's like to be a Gator. Come to a game day. We have a phenomenal, tailgate coming up in 2 weeks. And so I encourage you all to come visit us and really get an experience for what the swamp is all about.
Well, nice was a great place to start, but you're all more than nice. I mean, you're wonderful ambassadors for your schools. And I know that your teams, everybody talks about this big step, and we've addressed when to apply to business school, but I think having individuals like you that really encourage and help people to explore the right next steps for them makes such a difference. So that you joined us at Centre Court to share that enthusiasm, that energy, that excitement is always a real pleasure for me and for my co-host John Byrne. Melissa, Nicole, Naz and Jim, it's great to have you with us. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matt.